The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
Welcome to the Optavia Habits of Health call. I'm Shirley Mast. I'm a certified Optavia coach, and it's my pleasure to host this call for you. Now, if this is your first time joining the Habits of Health call, a special welcome to you. This call is for all Optavia clients, coaches, and health professionals. And it's possible you don't fit in any of those categories. Maybe you're simply interested in learning more about our program and how to create better health. So regardless of where you're coming from and what you're looking for, welcome to the call. I think what you'll find is that you're going to hear content geared towards those in various stages of their health journey. Some will be in the weight loss phase of their health journey, some will be in transition, and some are in the optimization phase where they're moving on towards a lifetime of optimal health. Optavia offers excellent tools and support for weight loss, but we also have a lot to offer anyone who's looking for better health in any area of life. So if you are in the weight loss phase, perhaps you're on our Optimal Weight 5-in-1 plan, please be sure to follow the guidelines that have been set up for you as guided by your free coach. Now, this webinar is being recorded. It will be available on your health coach's co-branded website, as well as on our YouTube channel and podcast within 48 hours. And on YouTube, you can search for Habits of Health Zoom. For podcast, open the podcast player of your choice and search for Optavia. Now, for those of you that are listening to the recording or the podcast later, we are so glad you've taken the time. Congratulations to you for investing in your health. And we do invite you to come join us live the next time to be part of the discussion. These Habits of Health support webinars are held every Wednesday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can visit your Optavia coach's co-branded website for the link. Now, I am really eager to get into tonight's call. For one thing, I'm excited for you to get to meet our co-host this evening. And this topic is one that I just really love, and I think you guys will love it too. But let's give you a chance to get a little bit acquainted with us. As I said, my name is Shirley, and I am a certified Optavia coach. But I was first a client, and I came to this program back in August of 2010. So it's a little over 7 years ago, at the recommendation of my physician. My health at that time was at a desperate place. I weighed close to 400 pounds, and you can just imagine what that does to the health. And I really had gotten to a place where I was resigned to the fact where what I thought would be true, and that was I thought I wouldn't get to meet my grandchildren. I know what happens to people who are morbidly obese. And so I had resigned myself to what I thought would be my reality. So that was the place that I was at when my physician recommended the program to me. Well, I got 2 weeks into the program, realized how quickly the weight was coming off, realized how good I felt, loved the energy that I was experiencing already. And I realized that it wasn't going to be long before I got myself to the really healthy place that I never even dreamed was possible. So as a result of this program, I've lost 215 pounds. It has brought a richness to life that I didn't even think was possible. And those grandchildren that I thought I wasn't going to get to meet, well, there are 2 of them now. And their Grammy can sit on the floor to play with them. And their Grammy intends to be around and vibrantly healthy for them, Lord willing, for a long time. But it has been amazing for me to watch what happens, not only as I got physically healthy, but as my mind shifted. And as I started embracing these habits of health, some of which you're going to hear about this evening. Now, the other thing that has been really fun for me is the people that I get to meet on this journey. And 2 of them are with us this evening. Matt and Audrey are hot. You know, how long have I known you guys? And I just don't trip over your name. Matt and Audrey Herzog are with us this evening, and I'd love for you to get to hear their story. Audrey, are you starting first?
I am, Shirley. Thanks so much for having Matt and I on the call. It's a privilege to be here sharing with you all. As you can see the picture on the left there, I was at a pretty desperate place with my health as well when I found this program. Matt and I have been married now for a little over 26 years. And I would say for 20 of those years, I was morbidly obese. I rapidly gained weight after we got married, had 2 pregnancies, went on to have 2 beautiful little girls. And in my late 20s, early 30s, I found myself 100 pounds overweight. I was desperate to change that, and I tried. I tried very hard to change that through various programs, diets, never seeing any long-term success, and became very almost hopeless that I would ever gain a place in my life where I had reached an optimal weight and a healthy weight. But the thing that kept me trying and the thing that made me refuse to give up was the fact that I had these 2 little girls who were looking to me, and I wanted desperately to be that healthy role model, to be that fit, active, healthy mom who really set and led by example. So when I saw a friend of mine, thank the Lord, she put something on Facebook, a post of herself on her journey with Optavia, on her weight loss journey. And I reached out and said, what are you doing? I need to try whatever you're doing, because I was willing to try one more time. And I'm so tremendously grateful that I did. That friend put me in touch with my health coach, who just happens to be Shirley. Shirley got me started on my journey. And like I said, I was going to try one more time, because I had kind of resigned myself to the fact that if this didn't work, I was just going to be obese for the rest of my life. But the fact of the matter is, this did work. And it takes my breath away. When I look at the picture there on the right, the life that I live now is so far removed from the life of obesity and depression and just that feeling of hopelessness that I carried for a long time. I went on to lose 100 pounds with this program, which that number is kind of mind-boggling. And yet the bigger and most significant change, I think, is just the way Matt and I live our life now, and the way that has changed my mental health. And the thing I'm most proud of is, like I said, those 2 little girls who are now both in college. I'm sorry, I have a senior in college and a freshman in college. And they got to watch their mom take on an issue that had plagued me and had controlled me for 20 some years. And I conquered it through the help of this community and my health coach and this program. My weight no longer controls me. Food no longer controls me. And that mind shift is truly breathtaking. And I'm tremendously proud of that.
Well, and like Audrey said, this was something that we'd struggled with for a very long time, for 20 years. And when she found the program and she started, I didn't want anything to do with it, just because we'd been down this road so many times. But it was about a weekend that she came to me with just such conviction and such hope that she was not going to just lose some weight, but she was actually going to get healthy and reach a goal. And so I connected with Shirley and I got on the program. And, my goal in the beginning was I just wanted to feel better. I wanted to feel better physically. I wanted to feel better about myself. And I did, like, pretty quickly. By the end of that first week, I was feeling really good. And what my coach helped me realize was that, I had met that first goal, and what was going to be my motivation to continue this. And she helped me sort of process that and think about, what does a healthy life look like for me? What would that change in my life? How would that affect the people in my life? And so I really started to focus on that and really started to dive into the habits of health as well. The program is great. It worked for us. Like Audrey said, I lost 50 pounds. She lost 100 pounds. But learning these habits of health is what has changed our life. And it's what's given us that assurance that we're going to be able to live a healthy life. And that's why I love calls like the Habits of Health call, because every week it's just another reinforcement for me, another reinforcement in that decision that I've made to be healthy, and that it's the practical little baby steps that we take consistently over time that really lead to that long-term success. And we're just so, so grateful.
Wow. Okay, so how many of you are so excited and so glad you got on this call? It was kind of worth it just for the stories, right? Go ahead and comment in the chat box. If they inspired you, go ahead and comment in there, because I'm telling you, I love hearing these stories. And it's one of the things that I love about being a health coach, is getting to hear these stories over and over again as I'm coaching. Now, the topic that we're going to be talking about tonight on this Habits of Health call, and Matt, you did a perfect lead in to that, because you're right. As we keep learning these healthy habits, that's the key to the long-term success. And the thing that I love about the topic tonight is that it's one that is so incredibly simple to do. So we're going to be talking about why drinking water can help you stay healthier and why it can help you lose weight more effectively. How many of you would like to lose a little more weight? You can comment about that in the chat box too. How much you should drink and how to actually accomplish it every day. We're going to talk about how to make this healthy action a habit, because that's the key, isn't it? And, I'd love to know from you guys, even as we start getting into this a little bit more, some of you I know have set some pretty healthy goals for this year. And I'd love to hear from you in the chat box. Like, have you set a goal and achieved it this year? Or do you have a goal that you still want to accomplish before the end of the year? Feel free to put that into the chat box too, because we love getting to hear from you guys. Now, this evening on the call, we're going to be sharing with you content that really is not original with us, okay? It came out of probably one of the books that you see here on the screen. Dr. Wayne Anderson is the co-founder of our program, and he is the author of Dr. A's Habits of Health and also the companion guide, Living a Longer, Healthier Life. Those two books are a significant key to our program. He is also the New York Times best-selling author of Discover Your Optimal Health. And all of these books I've just found to be so very helpful for me, and a lot of the content we'll be sharing this evening will be from these books. But I will tell you this, he also wrote another book that's called Stop, Challenge, Choose, and it talks about how to create healthy habits. Now that book is available in an ebook format. So if you haven't already had an opportunity to read that book, please talk to whoever it was that invited you to this call and ask them if they could get you a complimentary copy. I'm pretty sure that they could. And I think you're going to find it to be really, really helpful. So let's go ahead and dive into our topic.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure most of you on the call tonight have heard that water is good for you. But why is that? What does water do for us? Well, first of all, water makes up the majority of our weight. 55 to 60% of the average adult body is water. And our body can't store water, so you need to replenish it often. How much? Well, a goal of 64 ounces daily. That's 8-ounce glasses of water. It's just a basic habit of health. What does water do for you? Well, it helps all of our organs and systems to function. Our body needs water to function properly. It helps to move nutrients, hormones, oxygen, etc. through your bloodstream and lymphatic system. It helps remove waste. It helps our kidneys do their job to be a filter. It helps our joints stay healthy, helps keep them moving smoothly. It also helps to maintain muscle tone. Water is important for the regulation of body temperature. It also may help relieve constipation. When our body's dehydrated, we pull water from our colon to compensate for that. And therefore, more water intake can kind of help get your system restarted and get more back to normal along those lines. Don't drink enough water? This one really kind of grosses me out. I saw a graphic of this one time. If you're not drinking enough water and not giving your body enough clean water, it's actually forced to recycle dirty water. That's kind of gross. I'd really rather my body use clean water. So drink up, give your body the water it needs.
So the question is, how much water should you drink? Well, how much water do you drink right now? Why don't you go ahead and add that to the chat box? How much water do you get in a typical day? So unless your healthcare provider has restricted your water intake for some reason, we recommend drinking 64 ounces of water every day. And some may need to drink more than that, but for some, that's a lot more than you're drinking now. And dehydration, it's a reality more often than we realize. Did you know that we lose nearly 12 cups of water every single day? 2 cups through perspiration, 6 through urine, 2 to 4 through breathing, and even more when it's cold outside. And did you know you lose 1 cup of water through the soles of your feet? I had no idea. But you know what? This can vary depending on the size of the individual. And high altitudes, people lose even more than that. So how do you know if you're dehydrated? What are the signs? It's easy to get dehydrated after a really hard workout, when it's really hot outside, if you've been participating in a sporting event. But some of the signs of dehydration are dizziness. You might experience a bit of a headache. Some other signs, you might feel less focused. Your short-term memory might suffer a little bit. You might have some dry mouth. Your urine is dark in color. You might feel some muscle weakness or even some lightheadedness. And have you ever had these symptoms and thought, you know what, I need to eat something? Well, it's possible that you're just dehydrated. So grab a 12 to 16 ounce bottle of water, see if that helps. You know what, it's not gonna hurt.
You know, Matt, before you go on to the next slide, I'd love to have you guys think about that a minute. I don't know for you guys. I know for me, when I first started this, before I got healthy, I didn't drink much water. I was lucky if I drank 8 ounces of water in a day. Now, I had coffee, I had Diet Cola, I had other beverages, but it was pretty rare that I drank water. 8 ounces of water in somebody that weighed close to 400 pounds. My hunch is I was running around dehydrated most of the time. And it was sort of interesting for me to learn what an impact it made on my health as I started getting in the basic amount of water that I needed. How was it for you guys when you first started on plan? Did you find, was the whole thing of drinking water an easy thing for you?
Shirley, I would say I was always a pretty good water drinker. Water was what we drank in my house growing up. My mom didn't have any soda in the house. So as a kid, I drank a lot of water, and I would say I drank a lot, but I also think I overestimated how much water I drank. When I really started to keep track of it, I wasn't hitting that 64-ounce mark. So it was a learning curve for me that I thought I drank a lot of water and probably did drink perhaps more than average, but I was not drinking enough.
Yeah. And I drank a lot of water. I drank probably 2 pots full every day that passed through a coffee filter, and that was it. I wasn't drinking really any other water.
Anybody else can relate to that, to Matt's comment that, he drank 2 pots full of water, the heated kind that had coffee in it. Yeah. If you're drinking that much water, just, you don't have to confess on that. But yeah, if you're drinking that much coffee. Oh gosh. Hey, well, let's move on here because I know some of you are really intrigued, and we've had this next slide up here, and you're really curious to hear, how does drinking water help you lose weight? Because some of you are already aware that really does impact the weight loss, or it can really impact the weight loss process. And during weight loss, there are really great reasons to drink more water. A lot of you are in the weight loss process right now. And the thing is, drinking a lot of water is going to help your body stay hydrated. It's going to help it operate more effectively and efficiently for a lot of the reasons that Audrey already listed a couple slides back. The thing that's cool about water is that there are 0 calories involved with that water consumption, okay? So you don't have to worry about the fact that that's going to be slowing down your rate of loss, and it does help you feel full. How many of you have had the experience of thinking you were terribly hungry, and then you drank 16 ounces of water, and all of a sudden the hunger went away? Yeah, you can comment about that in the chat box if you want. So drinking water will help you feel full, and it'll help you to keep from overeating. Studies have shown that at least 30% of the time, what we feel as hunger is actually thirst. And I know for even me, it's been a long time since I've been eating healthy, but sometimes I'll have that experience too where I think, oh, I'm really hungry, but I just ate a little while ago. Turns out it was actually thirst, and my body just kind of misread the cue. Drinking a lot of water is going to help remove some of the toxins that are stored in fat. And it can also minimize or eliminate fatigue, lack of energy, headaches, and unclear thinking, all of those, the things that Matt was mentioning just a moment ago. I know for me, if I'm doing public speaking, I'm chugging water because I'm putting a lot of fluid out just in the breath as I'm talking. And so I know that getting that extra water in helps me to stay clear. Drinking lots of water, or drinking your water, will help you to speed up your metabolism. In fact, a study once showed that drinking 2 8-ounce glasses of cold water increased the metabolic rate by 30% for 90 minutes. So could that, in fact, alone help you lose weight? Maybe. But regardless, the drinking water will be good for you. It also helps your liver convert fat into energy for reasons that I'm going to talk about in just a moment. And it also tends to decrease fluid retention. So when you're drinking enough water, you will tend to retain less fluid, which seems kind of odd, but is true. And I'll tell you this, as far as that whole concept of the liver converting the fat into energy, I'm just going to share with you what Dr. A says in one of his books. But the body wants to metabolize that stored fat. And so increasing your water intake might actually reduce your fat deposits, and here's why. The kidneys can't function properly without enough water. And when they don't work to capacity, some of their load is dumped over to the liver. And one of the liver's primary functions is to metabolize stored fat to usable energy for the body. But if the liver has to do some of the kidneys work, it can't operate at full throttle. Now, those of you that are in weight loss, how many of you want that liver to operate at full throttle? Yes, you do. Okay, you want it to be, going to metabolize that fat. So as a result, it metabolizes less fat, more fat remains stored in the body, and the weight loss can slow down. Now, for some of you, like for Audrey and I, we're both nurses. We thought that was fascinating. Some of you, that went sailing right over your heads, and that's okay. What you need to know is just keep that water going and keep drinking the amount of water that you need. It'll really help. Now, for those of you that are past the age of, say, 40, I'll go with a low number. Audrey, past the age of 40, right? That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, let's go past the age of 40. I won't say 50. But drinking water can help prevent sagging skin, and it flushes out the impurities of the skin. So it can leave you with clear, younger looking, glowing complexion. And who doesn't want that, right?
I'll tell you, Shirley.
Tell us a little bit more about how much do we need to drink?
I'd be happy to. And I just got to say, after listening to all those reasons why water is good for you and helps you lose weight, I'm thinking most of the people listening are probably just running for a glass of water because why not? That's great. So again, how much do you drink? Matt touched on this briefly. I think 8 glasses a day, 8-ounce glasses, so 64 ounces, or about 2 quarts of water. That's what you're shooting for. However, if you're overweight, if you live in a hot climate, exercise intensely, you may need to drink more than that. Just keep in mind, some individuals should not drastically increase or decrease their water intake, as it can affect certain medication effectiveness and levels in the body. So be sure to talk with your healthcare provider to get the advice for your specific situation.
So the question is, how do I do it? How do I move from 2 pots of coffee to actually drinking nice, clean water all day long? So the first tip I have for you is just stick with it. During the first few days, you're going to have frequent bathroom trips. It's just part of the deal. And that's a really good thing. Your body's flushing out the water that's been stored, right? You're moving from that dirty water, replacing it with clean water. Great thing. The body is going to flush out the stored water in your ankles and your hips and your thighs, and then it's going to regulate. So hang in there. It does get better. And so the first way that I would suggest, making this switch to drinking more water is to find a way to track your fluid intake. Maybe you have a pitcher that holds 64 ounces. How many of your water bottles full of water do you need to reach your goal? One way that I made that switch is I found a water bottle that was 32 ounces, and I would fill that up in the morning, and I would sip that from morning till lunch. I'd fill it again at lunchtime. I'd sip it from lunch until dinner, and then I drink some more water at dinner. And then I knew that I was getting enough in that I needed to. One of the best things that you can do is to just create a plan. Create a plan to drink it. Always carry a water bottle with you. A large one is easier. You have less bottles to count. Create a chart and mark it up until you develop the habit. That habit can take up to 2 months. One thing I love about the Optavia guide is it's got these great pull-out logging sheets. And all you got to do is just mark off that I got my water in every day. Maybe try to add some flavor infusers. It's basically adding essentially no calories to it. It's just flavor. They're reusable. So things like adding a sprig of mint, some sliced oranges, lemons, cucumbers, fresh ginger, or herbs. Or you can use the great flavor infuser packets that we have with Optavia. They're delicious. Love them. Just keep in mind that if you are on our program, try to limit those to no more than 5 per day. And if you are using ones with caffeine, try to limit that to no more than 3 per day. So just experiment, find what works for you. Maybe you love freezing cold water like Audrey does, or maybe it's better at room temperature. That's how I like my water. Or if it's really cold outside, drink it warm. Just use it to warm yourself. Just keep in mind that cold water may burn more calories, a little plus there. Try to get water in before your morning coffee. That's a habit that Audrey has developed. Just 8 ounces, and that's done for the day, or done. Great way to start your day, get you off on a good track. You might want to stop drinking water a few hours before bedtime, to really help with that restful sleep, making sure that you're not having to get up all night long. how to, figure out how to coordinate around your work schedule or your traveling schedule, and that's something that Audrey and I do a lot. We travel a lot. So we kind of figure out, what our schedule's going to be and where the rest stops are, and we make it work for us. And you know what? Just like anything else that's good for your health, you just have to do it. So what I'd like to do is just try a little experiment. If you have a water bottle, pick it up, and I want you to just drink from your water bottle for about 5 seconds. All right, let's do that together. All right, so I just drank about 12 ounces of water in 5 seconds. Not bad, right? It's not going to take you all that long to get this done. So keep at it. Use these tips we talked about and keep working on building that habit.
Matt, for the people that say, well, I just don't have time to drink water, you just kind of blew that theory right there. 12 ounces in 5 seconds, I think probably, even if you drink it slower than that, you can get it in. I know for me, it was interesting you mentioned the travel thing. We've got a few minutes here yet, but I know that people know that we travel a fair amount as coaches, not because we have to, but because we can. And they've said, how do you do that when you're flying? Well, I'll tell you, I just kind of space my water intake based on when I'm going to get a break. I'm not a big fan of using the facilities on the plane. Okay, so I'll take my water bottle onto the plane with me, and about a half hour before we land, I start drinking the water so that way I'm getting plenty of fluid in. There's just lots of little tricks that you guys can figure out, and I think if you talk with your coach, your coach can help you work out some strategies for you. Audrey, anything else as far as strategies that you found that have worked for you? I know you're a cold water drinker, and I'm a room temperature gal because I get too cold if I drink it at your ice cold temperatures.
I hear ya. I like my cold water, and I think my number one tip would be, I think someone already said it, but just take your water with you. Have it available. Honestly, my water goes everywhere with me, my water bottle, and I love my water bottle. My lipstick, my cell phone, my keys, and my water bottle. I don't leave home without them. Honestly, if I leave home and I find, oh my gosh, for some reason my water's not with me, I get a little anxious. I am so reliant. I sip it constantly, but having it available is key. Obviously, you can stop and grab a bottle of water, but I don't leave home without it. Always have it with you.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I'll tell you, my husband and I sort of joke about the fact that my water bottle goes everywhere except funerals and weddings. I don't usually, but it's out waiting in the car for me afterwards. You can bet that that's going to happen because I'm with you. This has become a habit for me. And it wasn't always that way. So for some of you who are like the old me before I got healthy, and you're lucky if you drink 8 ounces of water in a day, don't try to go to 64 ounces tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow you drink 12 ounces. Maybe 2 days later you increase it to 16 ounces and gradually increase. The point is to make steady progress. And like Matt said, just do it. So I'd encourage you to set a goal for this coming week. Think about what would you like to accomplish in the water intake area between now and next week's Habits of Health call. Is it about increasing your water intake? Or maybe you're already at that 64 ounce point and you want to just continue to make sure that you're doing that. Or maybe you've got another goal. And I would encourage you that as you set your goal for this coming week, be sure to let your coach know. Get off this call. When you get finished, let them know that you listened to the Habits of Health call. Share with them one thing that you learned. And let them know one goal that you've set, because that accountability can be incredibly helpful. Again, a huge thank you to Matt and Audrey Hartsock. You guys did a fantastic job tonight. Thank you so much for being on the call with me.
Thanks for having us, Shirley. It was fun.
Absolutely.
And congratulations to all of you for making the choice to be here this evening, because when it comes to creating better health, we're better together. So go make it a great, healthy week, and we'll see you again next time.
The following audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.